Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Ryan, and today we're joined by Artur Rehi. He's a YouTuber at the moment, doing much better than me. So I'm really privileged to have you on board, mate. Thank you for accepting. And it's nice to return the favor. Have you on my show for a change, because you've featured me twice now. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, but the timing couldn't be any more perfect, because actually right now in 2 hours, it's 7 p.m. in Estonia, 9 p.m., 9:25, our podcast is going to premiere on my channel.
Right, okay, so it depends on how long I can get this edited and out there. This might be past tense, but yeah, either way, go on. Go and join. I'll actually. Where can people find you on social media?
It's gonna be too late when this.
Hey, you say that, but I can still direct people to your channel. I like to get this out the way early, actually, instead of waiting till the end. Like, where can people find you on social media and stuff? Because I'll put all those links in the description for you, buddy.
Well, Instagram if they want to, or nothing. Instagram, that's it. If you're talking about social media, I'm not really big on social media, so I do YouTube. But
and your YouTube channels, you got 2 now, right?
Yeah, two. Yeah. Main channel is Artur Rehi. Then there is like Ukrainian war updates. Maybe in every 2 days I upload one video, and then the other one is Artur Rehi podcast, which I started with Artur Rehi Shorts. No, I started with Estonian Soldier channel, right?
Yeah.
2 years.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, didn't work out. I didn't feel like it. Then I changed to Artur Rehi Shorts, did some shorts, didn't feel like it, didn't work out. Now it's podcast. Kind of seems like it's working, so I'm going to go with that.
Hey, if you've just started and you're getting the views that you're doing, it's working out already. But dude, people take years to get to them views, so I think you're made for it anyway. And actually, you're the inspiration behind me actually wanting to include that kind of content on my channel. Believe it or not, like you are really? Actually the reason that I'm doing that. Yeah.
Oh, it's nice to hear.
Yeah. So you're inspiring YouTubers all over the globe, man.
Well, you're stroking my ego right now, man.
We got to stroke each other's ego. No pun intended.
That is true. Yeah.
Right. So links will be in the description for that, troops, if you're watching. First thing I want to.
I'm so sorry. You call your viewers troops, right? I noticed that on your.
It's a bit of an ism that I got that. Working, it's not a Marine-ism, believe it or not, and all of my Marine buddies probably cringe when I say that. It's mainly an Army-ism that I learned when I was in a veteran job. I was running a military college basically, and all of the staff, bar one, who was working for me, were Army. So they used to say troops all the time, and I hated it. But I eventually it got me with the terminology. I can't stop saying it now.
I think it's pretty good, because I know some YouTubers, everybody wants to have their audience called something, right? Like, so many cringe names to them. Troops is really good.
You think?
It's good, yeah.
I mean, it came from something that I cringed at myself, but I admit it's something that I can't change. I kind of wish I didn't say it, but I can't help it now.
I mean, I really like Task and Purpose as a channel, but honestly, Spare Parts Army, I'm not a huge fan of that. Like, but his channel is really. It's not like hate on him, but if he calls me Spare Parts Army, I feel like
stop doing that.
Stop it! I'm not Spare Parts Army. Yeah.
Oh man. So, hey, first thing, thanks for coming on. Anyway, I appreciate that you're a busy man and stuff. You do like 10 hours editing a day and things for YouTube for our viewing pleasure. I'm trying to change that for you, but we need to conversate about that, man.
My hairline is like feeling like, if you can see, this is all stress. So
if you want a cure for that, I've got one.
Please, I don't want to look like old man in 2 years.
It's instant. I'm not joking.
No. Yeah, you are joking. What?
It cost about £10.
10.
Just wear a cap.
£10,000.
Just wear one of these. Instant.
Yeah, sure. Come on.
Instant cure.
I'm not a hat person, but I think, Hey. Okay, I'm gonna shave. To next video, I'm gonna have a hat on. I'm gonna tell nothing.
Instant cure. I mean, I'm not even bald. I'm bald by choice. I could grow hair, but yeah, I worked that one out.
Show off. Because I don't like. I'm losing it. So
you've got good hair, man. Just put some. What colour's your hair? Like brown, black. Just put some boot polish on. Just put it on in areas.
Yeah, not cool. I don't know. I'll see what I'll do with it if it really bothers me.
Nah, it's all good, man. So, hey, listen, first thing I want to ask outside the box is, tell me about yourself. You can start back from as far as you want. So you can go back as far as you want or as recent as you want. I want to know about you, man. And so do the viewers, because they get to see one side of you on YouTube, I think. They get to see the presenter version of you and everything else. But there's obviously a lot more depth to you. Even I know, Sid, speaking to you, there's a lot more to you than just making videos, right? So talk to me.
1995, a man and a woman meet. No, I was born in 96. Actually, yeah, I'm 26 years old.
Wow.
And I grew up in a small town, only 3,000 people, very small, like rural town in Estonia. And then I went to, when I finished, I started YouTube 2011, started doing like children running around with airsoft weapons. I added these muzzle flashes at the end of these weapons. Like, and we were screaming stuff that nobody should scream, like, Allahu Akbar, you're a bad guy, I'm gonna, we played like children. I filmed it all up, put it to YouTube. That's when it started. So
you're just basically a kid then when you started YouTube?
Yeah, I think I was 15 or 14. It was like pseudo man age, this pubescent age. I was making these action videos, airsoft weapons with muzzle flashes, pretending that we're dead, stuff like that. But when I finished high school in 2015, my dream a long time was to be an actor, because all of my YouTubers back then, like idols, were living in Hollywood. So I did some like tests or the competition to the academy in Hollywood.
That's unbelievable. Actually, did you do video on that?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I've seen that. Hang on, you were in Hollywood, weren't you?
Yeah, 3 years I lived in Hollywood, yeah.
Right, no, I must have seen that, and forgive me, I can't remember what it was. It seems like it was a long time ago when you did that video.
Yeah. Kind 2016 maybe, 15,
wow.
16, yeah.
You know something? Right, I've seen that when I was in the military.
No way.
I've just remembered, I didn't, because I can't believe that is a memory that I didn't link with you. I actually seen that when I was at 30 Commando, Royal Marines, when I saw that video. I remember that very well now. And
that would be very strange, because that video has like 20,000 views. And that's
no, I've seen it. Were you on the boulevard or something, just with your phone, or there was a camera and you were talking about your experience, right?
Something like that, yeah.
No, I don't know if that memory is from 2016 when I seen it. I think it was, or I've definitely seen that video, but I didn't know. I can't believe I didn't link you with that, actually. That's interesting.
So it's strange.
Spooky as hell.
Like, it's that part of YouTube channel that nobody sees, or I've deleted like most, like deleted like up to 500 videos from my channel, like from 2011 or like 2012. I created this channel, I deleted all of the old ones. So I think it's gone now. But you saw it, yeah. Well, anyway, I was in Hollywood. I started acting for 3 years, and then I got the letter that I have to go to the Estonian army as a conscript. Wow. So I flew from Hollywood like straight to Estonian Forrest, took a rifle, and
just got involved.
Well, I was forced. I would have never went to the army if I wouldn't be forced. So
that's so if you were in Hollywood and you were away for quite some time, it's a real, if you get called up, you have to go back to do that service, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was called in 2015 already, like when I went to Hollywood, but for 3 years I got them like saying, okay, we get you next year, this year you can do your studies, And when the school ended, they're like, okay, now it's time, you've done your studies, come back.
Wow.
I never intended to go, but then they really forced me, so.
Well, that's really interesting, because that's such an alien concept to me. If I was away doing something, the thought of having to stop doing that, especially when your dream and aspiration at the time was to effectively make it in Hollywood, and that dream could be cut short because you have to do military service.
Man.
How did that make you feel?
I was depressed, crushed. My dreams were dead, especially when this school was $30,000 per year.
What?
I had paid $90,000 to be there and to get the permits to work and to.
That is insane.
I mean, that money also, like I don't have money. I grew up relatively like not poor, but like not definitely not rich. I didn't. That money was like a huge work of charity operations, gathering that money nationwide, media post like, okay, let's donate so this guy can go. It was like a huge thing.
Wow. I mean, if there ever was a reason other than illness to maybe sway service, that seems like a logical one, i.e. an investment of money, time, effort, physically moved to a different country. That's maybe a good reason to go, yeah, this guy's, he's pursuing other things. We could probably, bearing in mind it's national service for everyone, we could maybe not have, if we don't have to have this one guy, we could maybe make a measure for that. I would like to think. But it seems like it's pretty strict, right?
I mean, after the war now, it's much more stricter. Now they take everybody. But back then, they let some guys go. They let a lot of guys go. Only like 50% of men have to go. The rest somehow get away. And I tried to get away, but I was the one who didn't get away. So
the man that didn't get away.
Yeah. I have papers saying that I'm, loony from the head. It didn't sway them. I'm actually not. I faked all of this. Yeah.
Prison awaits you.
No, it's not a crime.
You criminal.
I've been open about this, so everybody knows.
Right, that's getting made into a short and put on TikTok now.
Oh hell!
Rehi, the criminal soldier. That actually is a Hollywood movie. The Estonian YouTuber who escaped conscription.
You know what
Yeah.
You know what I did to try to get away? I went to a psychiatrist. I went many times, and I was an actor. I studied this. I painted my nails black. I was like, I'm not feeling good. World is black. I can't be in public spaces. I have this thing in my head. And they gave me diagnosis after diagnosis. Everything is written down. In Estonia, we have all digitalized. So unfortunately, these diagnoses will stick with me the rest of my life. So if you go to my digitalized medicine page, you see this. Like, I'm fine. I'm a healthy dude and everything. Yeah. I'm fine. But I have a diagnosis that I can't be in public spaces because I'll go crazy. I have many other crazy diagnoses to be I gathered them to show the packs of paper that I have that I'm crazy, don't take me into the army. And they were like, screw that, you're coming.
I think in actual fact, knowing how the military works, they'll have looked at all of those excuses and went, this is the perfect guy.
We need him, yeah.
Get this guy in for a commission.
When war breaks out, send him to Moscow immediately.
That's absolutely brilliant, man. So, so in terms of what you wanted to do before the military, and we'll get into that, you wanted to be an actor. Is that something that you'll pursue again, do you think? Having invested heavily into it?
I don't actively pursue it now, but if I've done some roles in Estonia, like in some TV shows, and if they offer me roles, I'll say yes. And some people have offered me roles because they remember me from that time, but I'm not searching for it.
Okay.
But if they offer me roles, which they do sometimes, then I'm like, yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah, I think you should, man. I get the impression that if you were heavily invested at a young point in life, and had it not been for the military calling you up, you would have, either by choice or by chance or circumstance, you would have been acting, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, it was acting, singing, dancing, all of the bunch together that they do in Hollywood. So, but yeah, acting. But honestly, I would, but this YouTube is, I really enjoy YouTube, and it kind of became my career after the military, because everything I am in YouTube is started after I started making military content, and that's because I went to the army. Otherwise I would have never made that content. So kind of thanks to the fact that it crushed my dreams, it gave me another dream. So
yeah, I guess, I mean, I was speaking to someone else earlier, I guess through every hardship and every circumstance, a lot of the time there can be a hidden opportunity within that struggle, and it takes time to reveal itself to you. And in your case, it obviously revealed itself to you probably via YouTube. Is that accurate to say?
Yeah, definitely via YouTube. But in YouTube, the fact that I went to the military and tested out military content, that really exploded my channel. So yeah.
Good, man. So I mean, that was my next question actually, but I'm gonna have, in fact, you might laugh at this because I'm gonna have to rephrase it according to your answer, what you've just said. So the question that I originally had was, so the military, what inspired you to join? Now, I think everyone's gathered. I was inspired. Actually, no, I did. You were inspired basically not to join. Is that a fair thing to say?
I was inspired by the fear that they would take away my passport.
It was a real, yeah. So you were inspired in a very different. It was fear driven, right? You had no choice. So I guess I need to talk about your military service in general. Then we understand you were conscribed into the military. What was just talk to me about your experience in the military? Like, what did it do for you? What did it not do for you? Was it everything that you expected? Was it something that was as horrific as you had anticipated, or did you learn something about yourself in the military that you had a preconceived idea of beforehand, and it changed that when you joined? How was your time in the military?
Well, honestly, I would not voluntarily go back. I don't want to be in the military. It was really hard for me, and there was definitely dudes in there who managed it much better than I did. It was mentally, it was really tough to me. But I had a really high position. In like the highest position you can have as a conscript. Thing is, you go for 11 months or 8 months. If you go for 11 months, you'll be made into sergeant, and you're in charge of the 8 months conscripts. Yeah, I went for the 8 months, the lowest of the low, and I was in charge of the 11 months conscripts because
that's good.
Yeah, because when they were usually the position of the communications of companies giving to an 11-month communication officer, but he was incapable, and I just came back from 3 years of American life, and I knew my English like a second language, and they asked who can talk to Americans through radio, who is like ambitious. I'm like, take me. They took me, they tested me, they loved it. The company leader loved me, so he put me there. I got a very good spot.
That's great.
And now I'm a corporal.
Wow. So not by your own desires, but by the fact that you were competent, you were promoted. I've seen that, I've seen that people might not necessarily want to do certain things, but they're good at it anyway. And you fit the picture. You were, is that accurate with you? You might not have wanted to do something, but it didn't mean that you weren't good at doing it.
Honestly, honest answer would be I definitely was not a good communications guy. I definitely was not a good conscript, but I'm ambitious, and there's the thing about me that I think I deserve things that other people like. I don't know if I could. Give it to me. I deserve it. So if somebody asks something, who can do it? I know I can't do it, but I'm like, I'll go. And that's like in Estonian military, they encourage that.
Like ambitious.
They encourage that, yeah, more than the Russian military. So I guess,
yeah,
because I wasn't a good communications guy, man. I was a mediocre communications guy.
Yeah. I think it's. I mean, normally with the military, right? And you've probably seen this. Most guys who you see on military channels and stuff like myself, we were volunteers. We wanted to do what we were doing, and to a level, I'm not saying I'm like Rambo in any shape or form, but I wanted to be a Marine. I wanted to be a commando. I wanted to do something that was hard, and in order to pass that course, you have to have a level of competence to at least I can go to people. Although I might not have been, the best soldier ever, I know I'd reached a standard that I could proudly say I was a good soldier because I passed a really hard course and I spent a number of years there willingly. With you, it's the opposite, actually. And I think there's a level of respect that we should have for people like you who have to do something that they don't want to do, but doing it anyway. And you're a product of that. That shows resilience to a degree, right?
Yes, I did it. I pushed through, but it was so hard that if people would like play my story as, oh, you did it, that you didn't want to, it's good. Like, yes, but it was honestly so hard that I hope I never have to go through.
I appreciate that. I understand it's not for everyone. And you know what? Those guys that it's not for, who volunteered into the commandos, for instance, one, they can leave, and two, if they're not good enough, they get sent home anyway. So we always get the right person. Do you understand? So the fact that you didn't have those choices, is there loads of individuals in conscription who just don't want to be there?
Oh, yeah, most of them.
Wow.
Nobody
So,
in their 20s, nobody wants to, like, the best time of your life, you don't want to go and serve the country for 8 months.
so do you think it's counterproductive then? What would you say? Do you think it's more productive to have volunteers or counterproductive? What's your thoughts on conscription in general then?
Well, I think in
it work?
America it's unnecessary because they have such a huge population and they can do it by volunteer-based army. But Estonia is so small and next to Russia, I mean, we need conscription. Latvia, Lithuania, and Finland, definitely. Poland and Ukraine, all of these countries next to such a big aggressive country, they need conscription, yeah. But Germany doesn't, for example.
So the necessity's there, but do you think the outcome is the right outcome? Do you think you get the desired outcome from conscription? Because effectively, if you've got like loads of individuals who just don't want to be there, you might have the numbers on paper, but is that going to produce something effective? I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
I mean, the fact that I don't want to be there doesn't mean I don't like my country. If war breaks out, nobody wants to be forced to do this army stuff. But if army breaks out, they're here. They're given weapons. They're trained. Estonian conscription is kind of effective with the training. Like they don't let you pass around, wait around. They only have 8 months, so they will like stamp these drills into you every day, morning to night. So it's effective and it's in the muscle memory. 5 years later, they call you up again to do like 2 weeks of reminding stuff. It all comes back immediately.
Okay.
If war breaks out, it all comes back. So I think it's effective and necessary. Yeah.
That's interesting then. See, so from an observer, I'd be questioning whether it's effective or not, but you've lived that experience and you say it is. Yeah. I agree it's a necessity, with the way you're situated and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, the British troops are over Estonia all the time doing joint training exercises and stuff. Maybe that's more for a show of presence to bolster the numbers for Estonia. I'm not sure what that is, but I definitely understand that the environment there definitely helps our troops become more effective soldiers because it's Estonia, isn't it? It's going to be a great training ground. That's for sure.
I mean, it's a blessing that Britain is sending the troops, and right now they're taking them away, but France is sending the troops. Like British, it's a blessing because if they're on our soil, if Russia tries anything, British troops, they're one of the best troops in the NATO for sure. And seeing how Russia does in Ukraine against Ukrainians, I mean, if they would go against British, they stand no chance.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to. I do agree with professional training that we have. It's been the blueprint for many years, right? People change it slightly, but the problem with the UK, I guess, is the numbers that we can produce is nowhere near that of, for instance, America. But we don't need to because of that reason, effectively. So
it's quality over quantity in that case.
Yeah, and we've got NATO. That's what NATO is designed for, really, isn't it? To produce massive numbers, multinational. So in that sense, it works. But yeah, I mean, military service, irrespective if you want to do it, thanks for your service, man. It is what it is. But
it is so strange. Like, in England maybe, but in America, people are like, thanks for your service. And nobody says that in Estonia because it's expected of you. It's like, I don't thank you for it because it's like
it's expected.
Yeah, it's so weird. I don't really know how to take it.
Well, it's not really a big thing in the UK either. But I kind of picked that up off the Americans, and I think, well, actually, you know what? There's a level of pride if you're a doctor within doctors' communities. There's a level of pride with other people within different communities, and I'm like, well, that's my community, and it's like you've done it. So it needs to be like it's nice to be thanked for something, right? Either
it
way,
is,
and if it makes you feel a bit weird and stuff, it's like it kind of probably hit the right spot. So I've took that on. I've adopted that myself.
I just know that the Estonians who might be watching, they are like, I went to the conscription. Nobody's thanking me. Who is that guy? But
yeah, I get that. Anyone watching from Estonia, thank you for your service. I appreciate you guys.
That nicely, nice.
I'm just getting about 10,000 subscribers more through that, hopefully.
Honestly, man, I don't have Estonian viewers. Nobody.
I don't have British viewers. British viewers hate me.
It's weird, right?
I don't know why. Americans
Same.
tend to like
Estonians
me.
don't like me.
I don't know what it is. I think it's like, he's from our country. I don't want to see him do good. Like, burn him.
Yeah, and like then they watch some other dude from America or from whatever Germany, and they're like,
I don't understand that. Like, I get about 2% of my viewership is from England, the United Kingdom, which is terrible, really. I'm representing, but people hate me.
Yeah, exactly. You're representing your nation. And I do the same. I get like 1% even, I think.
Seriously?
It's no one. I think like 500 people at all, maybe.
Wow, that's crazy.
It's nothing, yeah.
So, post-military, like, when you left, what was it like for you leaving? I know a lot of guys who sent, like, for me, because I wanted to be a Marine, leaving for me was really hard. I had to go through a lot of adjusting because I fully submerged myself into the lifestyle. I fully adopted the character that you have to become to be able to effectively do your job properly. It affected me, the change. Was coming out of the military welcomed by you, I'm guessing?
Yeah, because during the 8 months, I mean, of course they try to break you the same way they try to break you in Marines and Commandos, but I was a tough nut to break, so I never gave away my civilian identity. I snuck out to do videos secretly, and I disobeyed orders sometimes, and I didn't go into the system in my head.
Yes,
I was there, but I was always fighting in my head because I didn't like it. So when I came out, I welcomed it to go back to real me, So
that change was easy then. It was like, if anything, it was a hindrance to the military, and you didn't need to change yourself at all to adapt.
I mean, I needed to change, but as soon as I could change back, I really welcomed it. Yeah.
Was there any difficulties for you leaving? Did you find yourself having any form of struggles and stuff?
Leaving? No. But I know some Estonians. Yeah, they really liked that new military them, because in civilian life, maybe their life wasn't going that good. They go to the military, they get a new sense of belonging, new sense of discipline. It's all very good. But for me, it's like I was already doing like things before, and I had a structured life, and then the military kind of smashed all of that. So for me, it was the opposite way.
Right. Yeah. So based on that experience, as a guy looking in at the other people who have to reintegrate into society, I'm not sure about Estonia, but I certainly understand there's a lot of difficulties in America, the United Kingdom, for instance, about veterans. Why do you think veterans have an inclination to drug addiction and homelessness and suicide post-military service? What do you think that is caused by, or what do you reckon the factors are for that?
Whoa. True. Well, I think the answer would be the same as just why civilians take drugs or drink too much. I mean, if I have to say, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I've found that, like myself, I can formulate an opinion on that straight away. But I also was for the cause, and all of the other guys who were for the cause seem to be able to, they can answer the question why people fall into homelessness or guys end up committing suicide and stuff like that. But it's not, if we all know it and we're all for the cause, why can't we stop it? That's the thing that I struggle with. I mean, for me personally,
why do you think it is?
I think it's because we were for the cause, because we were for the military and the structure. And what happens as a result is when you leave that structure, you've got no cause, you've got no purpose. You then tend to go down a different path in life, So it's interesting that that wasn't your experience, but at the same time, you weren't really wanting to be in the military. So those problems didn't follow you either. Which is an interest. That's interesting as a concept.
You make such a good point, actually. When I hear it, I kind of agree with it. Like, the sense of belonging is very important. I think some guys really accepted the military sense of themselves, and they belonged to that system. And when they go out, right, they lose that. But they're trying to hold on, but it's nowhere around them anymore, and it's so frustrating, I guess.
So, I mean, I'm just trying to think from your perspective, because you haven't suffered the same kind of fate as some guys do, but understanding a bit more about your military service, the circumstances around it, you held on to your identity more so than other people would. You really took pride in holding on to you as a civilian. Maybe that's the answer. Maybe that's part of the answer.
I really held on to it, yeah.
Yeah, you're a military guy, but to help with the transition, you've accepted you want to be a civilian now. We're going to help you transition to becoming a more effective civilian with a civilian identity. That's probably where one of the problems should be focused on now, is giving you a different identity. Or realigning you with the original identity you had in the first place before the military. You've seemed to have bypassed all that problem because you've held on to your own identity from the start.
I guess I got lucky for the fact that I just disliked the military identity so much that I naturally didn't want anything to do with it. I just did it because I had to, but every part of my body and my mind was waiting for it to be over. So it was very natural for me to just become me again if I got out.
It's really interesting, that. So talking about Ukraine, it's kind of the last topic I wanted to talk to you about because, look, it's partially the reason that me and you are speaking right now is because we both, although we have slightly, I would say, similar opinions on things, we go about it a different way due to own experiences. I mean, you're right on the border pretty much, you know, of this invading country, and your experience will be different to mine. Your lived experience and understanding is it's localized for you.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So although we're doing the same type of coverage and stuff, how does Ukraine sit with you? Like from the whole invasion to now, if you were to summarize it, what's your thoughts and feelings?
On Ukraine as a country?
On Ukraine being invaded by Russia, or however you want the terminology, put that into, you know, whatever your perspective on that is.
I think, I believe that Ukraine will win this war, but I believe they will win it with the Western help, and especially American help. And if that help stops, I think they can win this war also, but it will be a lot more costly, a lot more time will go. And I believe whatever way Ukraine will win, because they cannot lose. I mean, knowing Ukrainians and how resilient and how they are, they're very fiery people. You don't want to mess with them. Like,
really?
It's not a country you want to mess with. Yeah, they don't forgive and they don't forget also. They will remember this. So Russians have shot themselves in the foot by losing such a friend as Ukraine.
Yeah. I mean, my limited knowledge, the only thing I can give kind of comparison to with my understanding is I'm a boxing fan, and you know, you've got Alexander Usyk, you've got the other great fighters from that country, the Klitschko brothers, man. And if you just look at the way they held themselves in boxing against adversity, if the war is fought anything like the guys take boxing so seriously, then anyone's going to be up for a fight against Ukraine if it's the same mentality. And I guess it is. You know?
It is actually. I mean, Estonians are very hardworking. They're like German work culture. We have it. We copied it here, and we're using it. But we are so close to Slavic nations that I don't want to like offend anybody. But in Estonia, people joke around like, okay, you have Estonians, they work hard. You have then Russians who like, yeah, if they're hardworking Russians who adopted the Estonian nationality, they're like really hardworking, they're good. But if they're like from the Soviet nationality, in the Soviet Union, you didn't really have to work because nobody gained anything from it and the state paid for anything anyway. So if they're from that, they're like really poor workers. They don't have the mentality like the boxing mentality or stuff like that. But Ukrainians, they are like from the Slavic people, they're like the workhorse of the Slavic people. They work hard. And they're very like fiery. Estonians respect Ukrainians for the fact that they work like Estonians, and that says something. So
there's a lot of similarities with the Estonian people and Ukrainian people. You think?
Well, Estonians are actually very slow, very like calm and chill. I'm like my face and everything. I'm more like a Slavic spirit, but the Estonians actually are like blonde, blue-eyed, very slow, very like calm down. I'm more like fiery soul, and Ukrainians are also very fiery.
Right.
But they are hardworking people, hardworking nation. I don't want to offend Russians, but you cannot. Russia as a nation, that's not the first word. It's not hardworking that comes to my mind.
I get you. Yeah.
I'm sorry if I offend anyone.
Well, I don't think it's not necessarily about offending. You're just trying to understand the characterization with, you know, that country. It's a bit like in England, if you were to say, yeah, those guys can drink. That's true. Like, people can't be offended. We're drinkers, and Australians are drinkers. Americans will get offended with me saying, yeah, you guys can't drink. But it's true from my experience. Like, you can't drink like we could drink, you know? So you're not really risking offending people by trying to give a characterization of that country. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, with the drinking part also, I mean, I lived in America, and the alcohol differences, you can feel it. I felt like an alcoholic there, honestly, because
just for a social drink.
Yeah, I mean, we were having fun, and then I understood how much really Estonians drink and how much Russians drink, and Americans are like very healthy with that compared to Eastern European countries.
Yeah, I agree, and I think Americans, the bit that was funny for me is the thought pattern is there that they think they drink a lot. And it's like, wow! I remember going out in. We were in. I can't remember if it was Arizona or something. It was that way, and we were drinking. We were just having a normal night, and the U.S. Marines with us were like, "Oh my God, you guys are drinking so much!" And we were like, "No, this is it. We're working tomorrow. This is casual."
Yeah,
and they were like blown away. Like, what? You can't have like 10 pints casual. And you know, and I guess it's true, well, really.
10 pints, honestly, even for me would be a lot, but I know I could do a lot more. But for casual night, I couldn't do 10 pints. Yeah, that would be a party already.
Yeah, I mean, that's casual in the British Marines, honestly. In the Royal Marines, yeah, we can
that's
easy.
That's a lot.
Yeah, so we understand that, and the Americans are not wrong for thinking that that's a lot, because it is a lot, really. You know. But it's funny how different countries are different with their mentality, with their characteristics and stuff. But Ukraine, you know, I got into covering the war in Ukraine, probably for different reasons to you. But the one thing that I wanted to do was just give my opinion on things, whether I'm right or wrong. And that's all I do give is an opinion on the war there. Why did you get into covering Ukraine specifically? What was your motive?
I mean, 2-3 weeks ago, before the invasion, Joe Biden was very active with his words and warning all over the world. And I was already making videos like, expect this invasion. What's going to happen? I was making these videos already, and I was so glued to my screen. I mean, as an Estonian, it's either Ukraine or Estonia, and we got the lucky card that they picked Ukraine. So for me, naturally, I'm following this as it was my own country.
Wow. Yeah, because it's. I mean, that's an interesting. So you did it because it's localized to you, and in your head it was, well, actually, for how close Ukraine is, how close Estonia is, it was either one or the other in terms of the mentality. That's an interesting thing. Do you think there's any risk of Estonia being involved in some way, shape, or form, either via Russia invading or Estonia getting involved in support of Ukraine? What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, Estonia, look, we're not a big or a rich country, but we have sent like over 35% of our military GDP in equipment we have sent to Ukraine. So 1/3 of our entire military we have sent to Ukraine. Because that shows how we feel about this conflict. That shows how much we know that if it wouldn't be Ukraine, it would be us. So, and I feel the same way. I think we can even give more.
So do you think is there a real risk of, in your head, of this spilling over into your country or not?
I don't think so. I mean, before the invasion, yes, everybody was on edge because Russia had so many troops on the border and ready all the time. But now seeing how Ukraine is just blasting them away. I mean, I follow this stuff and I see Ukraine is really...
They're kicking ass.
They're destroying the Russians. I mean, there's no... If people watch this like, oh, Russia is big. No, Ukraine is dominating the battlefields. Yeah.
If you truly know what's going on, you can't come to any other conclusion. Like, listen, for bearing in mind the force that Russia was perceived as being, and in comparison to what's actually happening, Ukraine are... Wow. It's impressive for what they have. Yes, they've got a lot of support, but you could give certain countries around the world, all of the same support, and they would not perform anywhere close.
US gave more to Afghanistan army.
Exactly.
Over the 20 years, and they fell with 2 weeks, 1 month maybe. Ukrainians have gotten little by little the equipment, but they have fought with sticks and stones at the beginning. 2014, they didn't have anything, but they fought with what they had.
Yeah. So that's a resilience thing coming through there.
Oh, that's the fiery nature of, like, it's Russia thinks they can, like Germany, they could terror bomb England with V2s, like, into submission. You can't. The population will get the more you
Decimated.
push the population, the more angry they get.
Yeah.
Ukrainians are angry, man. Like they're ready to destroy.
Yeah, I think that anger will last generations as well. It'll be 100 years worth of thought pattern here.
Hey,
you know,
my grandfather was deported in the 40s, as was everybody's grandfather in Estonia, and I am angry at the Russians for this. It's
now.
3 generations. Yeah, right now I'm like, what the hell you did to my family and my country? And Ukrainians are more fiery, more like temperamental than I am, and than Estonians. So Russians for generations, they have signed their death sentence with this.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think globally people are condemning it all over the place, but it's going to hit home a lot more for the locals. So I know you've mentioned before, but where do you honestly see this whole thing going with Ukraine? What does it look like in the end for you?
What I think is going to happen is Ukraine is going to take these big victories they have in Kharkiv, they have in Kherson. There will be more of these victories. They will perhaps take more ground back, and maybe there will be negotiations before they enter Crimea, or maybe they will enter Crimea and then there will be negotiations, but they will get all of their area back, and then they negotiate with Russia and the war will end.
Cool. And
what I think.
What kind of time frame? I know it's going to be, this is the hard part, right? What kind of time frame do you see that taking place in?
Looking of how fast things change, I mean, 2022 February, Ukraine is gonna die any minute now. 3 months later, they're kind of equal. 3 months later, Ukraine is taking back huge areas of land. So I think 1 to 2 years max, maybe 2 years.
So possibly the end of next year type thing,
or a year after that. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if they're fighting after that, then they're like 12 rounds in boxing or more. Like how? No way.
Yeah, it's the final bell. Hopefully, will be rung by then. It's a good way of putting it, actually.
I don't think they will. Yeah, it's more like a 3 or 4 round fight, I think.
So, on that note, then, what's next for Artur Rehi? What's next for you in general? Doesn't have to be YouTube. It can be anything.
Well, I've done YouTube for so long that I've been very isolated. I mean, this podcast that I also started on my channel, I mean, it was a way for me to like desperately call out for colleagues that I've never talked to anybody. So honestly, I really feel right now that I want to branch out. Like I want to do YouTube. I love it. But as of now, I'm starting to, I'll try to do pop music in Estonia, like to play in Estonian radios and stuff like that, like in clubs and club music and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. It's something that I cannot in any way connect to my channel. And the audience wouldn't match also. So,
but you could possibly, capture that content and put it on as a different thing. I mean, there's loads. Most of the famous guys on YouTube in the United Kingdom all link their YouTube channels with their music. So KSI, for instance, even Jake Paul and people like that, they've all had very good success with it. It just depends how much I think you want to put into that.
Honestly, I would love to do KSI style or Jake Paul style music. I would love to. I enjoy this style.
And I hope you do. I'll be a #1 fan, buddy. Send me free copies, and I'll put that stuff out there.
I would love to. Yeah, but right now I'm talking to some people and trying to it's such a foreign territory for me. I've never been I've done a lot of live gigs and accordion playing and folk music, but I've never done club hits, radio pop music. I would really but I need the producers and stuff like that. I don't know anything about it. I'm just struggling in FL Studio to make a beat right now. So I'm at the beginning of that road, but that's what I put a lot of energy into right now. So
well, hopefully it is successful for you, mate. I really do.
Thanks.
It's been a pleasure having you on the channel again. I know I was on yours. That's drop. When did you say it's dropping on the 18th, right? So that'll be today as this is recorded.
That's dropping in 1 hour and 15 minutes.
Okay, awesome, man. I'll let the channel know, and I'll hopefully get this out pretty soon. And let's do this, again. I don't want to just be a one-hit wonder with speaking to people. I generally think we can delve into topics and speak specifically on different things, whether it's your music, whether it's, YouTube boxing, like what I want to get into. We can always keep the conversation going. But I just want to say thank you for starting this venture anyway. It's the reason I'm doing it. hopefully we can get more people to do it like us, because I think the community that we've got is better together. You know, there's enough viewership to go around for everyone, and the more we share that, I think it's going to be better for us all. You know,
honestly, I got it from Jake he wrote to me to come to the podcast. I went to the podcast and I'm like, I could do it. So, and you got it from me. So that's how it goes around. So
it's grown, right? It's worked,
it's grown,
man.
Yeah.
But good luck with your stuff, mate. Is there anything else you'd like to... In fact, I'll give you the final say in terms of where can people find you again on social media. All links will be in the description, guys, for this, by the way. So if you want to go follow Artur Rehi, his links will be in the description. He's got a great channel. How many subscribers you got now?
25,000 on podcast channel.
Yeah. 25 on the podcast, and you must be like nearly 500,000 on your main channel, right?
557, yeah.
Wow, so a gold play button for you soon then.
I would love to get that, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll get it, bro. But hey, thanks for stopping by. Guys, if you liked today's podcast, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And we'll see you in the next one. Take it easy, guys.
Bye.